Well, hello, sports fans from around the world. Welcome to eSeniors GT3 World Championships. So welcome, sports fans from Autosports fans. Remember that Autosport racing and sim racing is a sport, so that makes us athletes. Even though eSeniors is 50 years old and plus only, we are all athletes. We have a new commentator joining us today, Brad Mears. Say hello, Brad.
Hey,
yeah.
Great honor to be in the booth with you today, my friend.
Well, I am hoping you add some racing knowledge to my meager racing knowledge today, so that's why I always like having another commentator. I'm a little disappointed you don't have a British accent, though.
Well, as long as I don't diminish your racing knowledge, I guess we're doing okay, buddy.
Yeah, right. So today, Season 8, Porsche Cup, Paul Ricard. And when I jump onto the screen, you will see we have an amazing number of racers today. 20 racers in Porsche Cup. In the off season, everybody's been talking up Porsche Cup. Let's hope all 20 guys remain in the race championship to challenge our reigning champion Jonathan Wood. The other thing that's new this year, if you haven't noticed it in the Discord, is that there's an overall series of scoring for, I don't know if we'll call it an overall champion or not, but I think Jeremy likes to call it GT3 champion, the real champion, but we'll have an overall set of statistics also. So anybody who participates in either the Ferrari Challenge or Porsche Cup and the GT3 will have all their points combined for an overall type driver. And unfortunately, I'm the guy who volunteers to keep track of that on a spreadsheet because SIMGRID doesn't do that. But brand new season, new excitement on the GT3 side. Everybody join in watching the stream that aren't racing because it is going to be a madhouse tomorrow. 50 cars in the track. The new season for eSeniors is that all classes divisions are going to be racing together. So currently we have 50 people signed up, but some waiting list people. So hopefully nobody will drop out. But that should be fun. What are you thinking of that, Brad? I know you're in the GT3.
Sure, yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's great, honestly, having both those divisions together. And I tell you something else I like quite a bit, frankly, is the setup for the eSeniors track rotation, right? Having all three of the series, the Spec Series, the Cup cars, and the GT3s, all running the same track, same weather conditions, blah blah blah. So I think that's really great. But it is the Porsche Cup today, and these things are tough. They're tough, Mike.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, I would be racing in it if I didn't plan on commentating because it sure shows you how to drive, and I think it's a little bit better since the new release has come out. But the Porsche really teaches you how to drive a car, that's for sure. So on the stream, guys, I see there's 5 people watching. So can you give us a heads up on whether or not our volumes are good? I don't have the, here I'll put the racing volume in the background there. Because I am going to be using new software today. Both Krista and I have switched over to new software. So we're scratching our heads a little bit in terms of how it all works. And the timing towers are pretty cool. But we're all learning. We're going to be both learning for the first time some of this stuff. So bear with us. Olaf, Ollie is on, so that's good. Up early in the morning, Ollie, aren't you? Sounds like the volumes are good. I am going to switch over to the stream in a second or two once the qualifying starts. So you'll see in the timing tower we should have a little bit more information, especially in qualifying. Oh, there we go. Qualifying is starting right now, so I'm going to switch over. There we go. And so, yeah, you see, you're going to see the timing tower show you actually the best lap and how far people are behind like normal. But it's going to switch over to, every few seconds, it's going to switch over to how people are doing on their best lap time. So it won't just be us in the booth here monitoring that. You'll see that also. So, Brad, what do you think of Paul Ricard?
Yeah, well, I like the track, and by the way, the timing and scoring pylons really great. I like the track. Well, okay, it's not my favorite to be fair, but it is a nice challenge, right? You have I think the majority of people are thinking the low downforce for the big long straight is the best overall way to go, but there is a ton of time to be made up with higher downforce in the twisty sections. Now, with the Porsche Cup, that doesn't really matter because you don't have a lot of those setup options, right? With the aerodynamics and the dampers. So I think generally these guys are just going to strip off all the rear wing that they can, enough to keep it on track, and do the best that they can in the twisties. And look, I mean that's where the better drivers are going to perform the best, right? And whoever does that more consistently today is going to win the thing.
Yeah. Well, the Porsche Cup's always a challenge in general, except for Jonathan. Jonathan and Derek Bird are the only two guys who know really how to drive the damn thing. But I like the track in the sense that once I got used to it, there's spots where you can take corners a little faster if you have to and hang on for dear life. But and I found it, and I always say the word technical track. You got to learn the track and those corners because there's a couple there that if you go crazy, you'll be just gone. A lot of track cuts on this track too, isn't there?
Yeah, really easy. But I noticed in my limited practice there in the Porsche Cup that a lot of them were the no penalty time violations, right? No time gain. So, but speaking of time gain, so I've been seeing low 57s from some of the faster guys, Derek Bird in particular. I got it. Yeah, and again in my limited practice there, I have to say low 57s. Holy cow!
With a Porsche Cup car, you mean?
Yeah. Yes, so I guess we'll just have to see how many drivers can get down to those 57 lows. I mean, you know how it is when the qualifying starts, the pressure ramps up, right? So sometimes.
Yeah, we're following Jonathan here now, and he's the leading guy out, so it's going to be his lap's going to set the standard for the first lap. And as you see in the timing towers, are a bit goofy there right now, but as soon as he hits everybody gets their first laps, and it'll show the actual times, how far behind they are, and then it'll flip to how the individual driver are doing compared to their best times. So that's kind of cool. There we go.
Yeah, that's really great. A neat mod. And given some of my technical disadvantage here this morning, trying to sort things out, I think I might like to try that out too, Mike.
He's just coming around here, Jonathan. I mean, to the straight, I think. No, not quite. Here we go. Last couple of corners. It's hard to see sometimes the helicam where you are. I hear he's on the last corner. Oh yeah, there's the bottom left-hand corner is the turn numbers and the turn names too. It's kind of cool. Here he comes, last corner. So here comes going to be setting the standard. I think his lap is good. I think I have a hard time telling that. There we go, 157.9.
Yeah, tough braking zone into that last corner, no doubt about it, and really a pretty big key to that third sector lap time.
Yeah, Derek just beat him there by 0.3 of a second. So there on the timing tower, that's times relative to their best times. I'm going to let that be something that I do manually instead of automatically here. Let me set that up.
Well, there's our first 57 low there. Panov put it there at a 57.2, a full 0.3 ahead of Derek Bird, who has shown really good times in a week of practice.
So I think I'm going to be able to change things back and forth here on my own. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm going to make that. There.
Yeah, so early in qualifying here, Derek Bird running second. Wood running third, Sylvain running fourth, Howard running fifth. Times are going to drop, Mike. Times are going to drop.
Yeah, well, we're already in 47.24.
It'll be interesting to see, too, just how top to bottom, how close the grid is here on this track.
Let's see who's got. Jonathan's got a better time going. Oh, Steve Young just jumped onto the podium there. 157, almost flat.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive.
You like
Holy
that?
cow.
Let's see who's improving. There's Merche's improving a little bit. So let's just watch him. And I'll go back to... He just lost all his benefit there. Oh, Chris is improving big time.
Yeah, well, that's not too surprising. I was chatting with Chris Moses a little bit during the week of practice, and he actually is really super comfortable in the Cup car, which could be dangerous for the grid.
Yeah, right. Jonathan's in 5th place at the moment. He'll be picking things up too. Now, maybe look at the colors on the tower. I wonder if that is. I'm going to flip over and see. That might be who's improving and who's not improving. Again, we're all learning this together. No, I don't think that is. I'm not sure what the green means.
Well, it seems like a reasonable assumption, honestly.
It wasn't, though. It seems like it's gone now for some reason.
Aha. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in any event, I like
Steve Young just jumped onto the podium. There we go. So, and Chris Bourne has got a good lap going. That's who we're following right now. And who we're following shows as the little white dot on the position number. I took away the car numbers and put nationalities just for fun because I don't think car numbers make too much importance.
Yeah, well, Bourne's going to be a driver to watch. He's one typically up there.
He's improving by 0.2 right now, so it's not going to be huge for him. Who else has got a big time going?
Well, shoot, just barely less than 4/10 off, really, Steve Young, who improves his time, by the way, Mike, to a 56.8.
Nice. Steve Young's been a great addition to the group, providing some great racing, and as you guys all know, he's a big YouTuber.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Mike, Season 7 championship winner there.
That's true. Yeah.
Group 1 class, yeah. So there you go. That shows a little bit of speed. Proves it, right?
Yeah. It was that season ending was a little anticlimactic with all the problems people had and whatnot. Chris Moses had some nasty technical problems late in the game, so that's too bad. He might have had it locked up, but so the only guy improving right now is Derek. Derek's up. He might jump onto the podium with this time. Let's see where he is. He's just starting his lap, however. Aaron Shannon's up by a second. Where is he? That'll jump him a few spots, but there's a pretty big. We got the first nine guys are 2 seconds apart. That's quite a bit. So it's going to be I think a leading pack and then a pack at the back kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, interesting to me is watching Chris Moses here, fully 1 second right now off of that pole time. So we'll see if he actually does have the car figured out or not, I suppose, over the course of the qualifying. But I would expect him to improve a little bit.
Yeah, he was pretty confident that he was going to be able to master this car pretty quickly. We'll see what it's like in race time. Lapping is different than racing because you get a little excited, hit the throttle a little too hard in the wrong place with the Cup car is not a good thing. Looks like Derek might have lost his lap. Yeah, he did.
Oh boy.
Andy Driscoll. Yeah, I'm going to go to the TV cams. Somebody just went out of the way. Is it Driscoll we're watching? No, it was Driscoll.
Yep.
Nobody's really making any moves here. I'll show you the gaps with their personal or their times here. That's the deltas here. We'll watch the deltas now.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing too much traffic out there. I think most of the drivers are getting pretty clean laps. Of course, it's a long track, right? So there should be plenty of space out there for the drivers.
Okay, Merche's getting a better lap. Let's jump on with him.
Yeah, 2/10. 2/10 behind. It's a long lap, but almost 3/10 to pick up here in the Cup car. It's got to be a tall task, and you can't really jump back into the pits and go, okay, well let's go ahead and put this thing a bit more aggressive, try to gain the time, right? So he's gonna have to do it with good driving.
Merche's up in his time, but he's got a long. Oh no, maybe not. No, he's about halfway. That might get him. He needs about 3/10 to jump on the podium. Derek's got a time going.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of time to be gained there for Mercer in the last sector, right through the twisties. So if you nail that, I think he's got a shot at 3/10. But again, tall task.
He just lost his lap. But Derek's got a good time going. He is up 3/10 right now. That will move him possibly into second, certainly on the podium. And how much he doesn't have too much of the track left to go. Just look at those things drift around the corners, eh? It's a fun car to drive. It is a fun car to drive.
Yeah, when you get it set up right and you have enough experience in it, basically know which corner you're going to be able to slide it through and which ones you can't, then yeah, agreed.
These guys can slide their car. I guess the best guy is just sliding around some of the corners. This is going to get him second at least.
Yeah, well, a couple corners to go. We'll see. It's easy to screw up any one of them. You lose so much momentum with these small mistakes in these Cup cars, Mike. So it just doesn't take much. Small slides can cost you big time.
Oh yeah, he just gained. Look at this. He just gained. Come on. This is
wow.
That's the last corner. He gained some time. Let's see if he goes into second or third. That's third. Third, not by much. I'll show you. But let's just see what he's got.
Yeah, so times are tightening up.
Yeah. How much time left? Qualifying time left is not on the top of the screen like it used to be. It's just above the timing tower there. So 2 minutes, 42 seconds. So time for a couple of laps possibly for some of these guys. See, Jonathan just went yellow there. Everybody's pushing hard. Steve Young just might have it. 0.2 of a second is quite a bit. When 1:56.8 is a pretty good time.
Boy, and for all the guys that haven't put in their best time yet, that pressure just ramps up and up and up, and you're down to your last lap or two, and boy, that your lower regions kind of suck up a little bit, you know.
Yeah. What do you think of this? Not much going on here. Chris Bourne's the only guy who's got any improvement going, but not much. 1/10 of a second, and he's got a half a lap to go. What do you think of the 60-minute races in GT3?
Well, I think it's fine. Of course, for some of our more mature drivers, I could see it being a bit of a problem. But 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
I got my hand up as a mature driver because I had a hell of a time. I had to stop the first time we did it to go for a pee, and I couldn't hold it any longer. So no coffee in the morning on a race day.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be setting up any jars or anything on the seat.
No, I'm beyond that. So I don't know.
Okay, so Moses did improve a little bit. Has not moved up in position there, so still sitting P6, and I think that's going to be it for him. He actually might have one more lap, so we'll see if Moses can improve on that last lap.
Merce's got a little bit of a delta going here now, and where is he in his lap? Just coming around the last few. No, he's just starting his lap. So, look at that. He jumped up a couple of tenths of a second there for a second. And he needs about almost 0.3 to get podium. So he's getting close. I guess the track is probably rubbering in a little bit.
Another thing on these good laps, you see that timing and scoring coming around, and so you've got that 10th or two, right? And for some reason you just want to push just that little extra harder, even though you've got the time in hand, and that can lead to some easy mistakes.
So he's coming around the last few corners here, still up. Look at that, he's 0.3 now. This could be it.
He's holding on.
He could be looking at podium.
He's holding on.
Yeah. Here's the last complex here. Virage de Bendor. Here he comes. This is Virage de la Tour. I'm francophone too, by the way. That's why I can throw the accent in there. And this is the last corner, I think, isn't it?
Good-ish exit.
Oh, he just lost a little bit there. But look at this. Chris Bourne's up. Chris Bourne's up 0.3. Where is he in his lap? He's coming around that same set of last few corners too, because qualifying is now over. 3/10. What is that going to get him? That is going to get him, podium for sure. Maybe second if he can hang on. 0.4 would get him second for sure. He's going to hold on to it, I think. Nicely done in the last corner. Didn't lose anything. Oh, he lost a little bit. He's going to get third. Second. Beautiful. Beautiful performance there. Nice.
Wow.
It's nice to see a guy pull one off in the last lap, isn't it?
It feels good. Yeah, for sure. So he's got good momentum going into the race. Coming up shortly, by the way.
Yes, I'm going to jump back to the screen here, like this. You can watch my beautiful face. Let's let people see what I've got on the back of my wall. I got a few pictures there, and let me, if I can see, up, and then way over there. Look at that nice big seniors.
Oh boy!
Banner there. Yeah. I have one of my other hobbies is photography, and I have a pretty fancy printer. I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've got the banner. Where are the shirts? Where are
you know what? That's
the coffee mugs, the hats?
I gotta get an eSenior shirt for sure. All right, so let's see our podium. Steve Young hung on through the whole thing. Chris Bourne in second. Merche in third. Chris Bourne jumped into second place from about fourth, I think he was, fourth or fifth. Derek Bird in fourth. Jonathan Wood, our series champion last year, is in fifth, so it's going to be interesting to see how he fares. Chris Moses in sixth. Sylvain, Mr. Sylvain, I always forget his first name, and he doesn't put it on the stream, so I get him to put his first name on there. Is in seventh. And Krister, hey, look at that. Krister, who's doing Porsche Cup for the first time. He was not very confident that he was going to get up there. He's in 8th place.
Nice
Terry
lap.
Howard in 9th, and Thomas Rainier in 10th. So that's the whole top 10. So that's going to be good. But I'm super excited to see see 12 guys or 20 guys on a Porsche Cup race. That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
fun.
and sure, and it's great the opening race of the season when you do have that big turnout. Attendance can drop off toward the end of the season.
Hopefully not.
And so forth.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But it is going to be a test for those top guys, particularly top 5 guys. Again, small mistakes in these Cup cars can really extend or tighten those gaps. So Steve Young's got a lot on him, I think, at the moment to hold on. We'll see how tight the racing is throughout the race, right?
I don't know. Did Steve race last year in Cup? I'm not sure if he did or not. He's such an accomplished racer. He probably knows the Cup car does it in other series. I'm going to switch over here because we've got. And switch over to that. Let me get some other things going here. Oh, the timing tower is gonna look a little funny, I think, for a second. There we go. I think I gotta go in there now. If I get my cursor back, I shouldn't be talking on the stream about all the stuff that I'm doing. There we go. Now we got it set up. And there in this software, Krista and I are very excited about. There's some sort of track walk software or setting that we have not figured out yet. So once we figure that out, it's going to be great for track walks.
Well, it'll be exciting if you can figure it out. Look forward to it.
As usual with software these days, and even in my brand new car, they can't. There's too much junk. There's too much stuff in software now. They can never have a good user manual.
You just need that engineering degree. That's all.
I have
it's never too late.
I have an engineering degree. It's not helpful, believe me. A computer engineering degree on top of that, systems design. So and that still doesn't help.
You'd think I would have known that. Just you help me out here, Mike. Let me know these things.
So you're at Kansas City. What's the weather been like?
Weather's been hot until the last couple of days. We've had a front come through and cooled things off a little bit, but the heat will be returning shortly, no doubt, as it usually does.
Yeah, here It's an El Nino year for us, so that is going to be interesting. All right, they're expecting it to be an El Nino year, I guess. So, or an El Nino
Sure.
few years. So that means that in the North America and elsewhere, everything is going to be all over the place. So yeah, the other for those of you who are just watching and not part of the racing community here at eSeniors, we have another new feature. We are also doing a full warm-up lap. Reason the admin people thought that might not be a bad idea is with the 60-minute races and with 50 guys on track, it just gets everybody settled down to get their breathing settled down for the race, and doesn't really do much for the tires because you can't go fast enough. That'd be nice. Something nice that they could do in eSeniors is let you have a fairly fast warm-up lap so you could actually get your tires a little bit better. But anyway, the way it works is everybody's in single file for 3/4 of the lap, and then about where we used to do our starts in side by side is where the game forces you to go side by side. Now there's a little bit of a trick if you guys listening or racing in GT3, you haven't noticed, as soon as this system goes and says to drive side by side, it shortens all the gaps. So you really have to accelerate big time, especially if you're at the back. Really hit the throttle there and get right up into your starting block fast, because the farther back you are, the more you have to make up in terms of time, because the whole gap on the starting box goes down to half, because there's half as many starting boxes. Have you noticed that, Brad?
Sure, yeah, makes a lot of sense. But you mentioned about warming up the tires. Super important in these Porsche Cups. They take a while to come in, and you have to be so gentle, especially when you're racing next to the guy you're trying to beat, and really pushing.
Okay.
It's so easy to spin the car or to slide off with understeer. So got to be real careful the first opening laps with these tires.
Yeah, it's worse than since the 1.9 release, it seems like it takes longer to get all the tires going.
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's going to take us quite a while to get around the track here. We're coming up pretty close to the spot where it's going to jump in. Also tomorrow, just for fun, I think Krister and Jonathan would have a few interesting new features for eSeniors TV. What do we call it? eSeniors TV now instead of just GT3. So any time now, the system is going to say line up side by side. Looks like that's the time right now because everybody's speeding up. They're quite spread out on the track, so it might be interesting to see if everybody catches up. There we are. So now they're going side by side. Follow along the top three here.
Yeah, quickly, another good feature about this longer warm-up lap is the ability to kind of make all your pit stop adjustments if you have any. Make sure you have all that in order. Take a look at the fuel. Maybe remove that damage. Pit stop damage if you want. So
yeah, I gotta practice that. I never get around to doing that. This season, I'll wait to talk about that a little bit later. Some of the new features we're going to have in some of the races. Come around the last couple of corners here. Excuse me. There we go. Last corner. Virage du Pont. And then we're down the straight. Looks like everybody's lined up pretty good. We're following along with Chris Bourne there. So we'll see how to start. Here comes the start. Green, green, green. Here we go. Looks like everybody's held their position pretty much. Oh, we're side by side with Young and Bourne. And that Young, that's Young that got it going. Let's watch everybody coming through the corner here.
Nope.
Some side by sides.
Bit of a bump there.
Was there?
Yeah, a bit of the bump.
Not bad. Young and not too bad. So we're back at the top. No, Murchie was in third place, so There's something else I have here. I have position deltas. That's another new feature.
Great
That's
feature.
that's a good start. Everybody had pretty much a safe start. At the back of the pack, there was a little bit of stuff going on.
Yeah, and I'm a little hampered here again technically, so it's hard for me to get to a particular driver quickly, but we'll do the best we can.
Steve Young has pulled out quite a bit. And
Yeah,
it looks like
but it's now
Murchie's making a move.
Merce
Murchie's making a move, trying to look on the outside. That's not going to stick. Maybe that's just a different driving line. Looks like Young and Bourne went off track a little bit there. Looks like they got back in time for those little plastic cones.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're dealing with so much understeer right now, Mike. So much. They're really trying to hold pace and at the same time make the corner.
See how Chris Moses is doing. There's a gap there. Let's go down the field a little bit. See everybody. How's our buddy Krister doing? Oh, he's holding everybody up. Come on, Krister, hang in there. Just kidding.
And Moses and Wood have swapped positions here early on in the first lap.
Who are we following here? Thomas. It's quite a little grouping here. And I think that's Krister at the front. Yeah, that's Krister at the front of that. So here we're back to the top. One thing I noticed, it's not showing who I've got the camera on the trimming tower. It's supposed to show that. I'm wondering why it's not.
Yeah, so you're right about that gap, a slight gap opening up there to Krister. And it looks like
Chris Bourne made a little mistake, and geez, the top 5 and 6 are all together here.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, for now. There you see Steve got a fairly big gap there. How's his gap? 2 seconds. And then there's a whole grouping of a bunch of guys there.
Well, I think the Steve Young pace there in qualifying obviously looks pretty real, Mike. He's having no trouble right now pulling away, nearly to the tune of 2 seconds at the moment.
Yeah, wow. Murch is really moving on Chris Bourne here. Looks like he's going to try and get a draft and go. Let's go to the helicam. Oh, I just can't get that outside line on that big, long, sweeping curve. Courbe de Signe. Signe is Swan. That's Swan corner.
Pretty impressed so far, Mike. I have to say everybody's been keeping it pretty tidy. No big offs, really, to speak of. So very good opening laps for these guys. Yeah, it's an opening lap.
This is only lap 2 here. Murchie had a little wiggle there. And is anybody really, really close here? No, this is basically the game.
I'd say they're all pretty close.
Yeah.
From my time in and scored, I'd say they're doing pretty nose to bumper.
Shannon here is pretty close on Jeremy, actually. They're all pretty close there also. Just happens to be the one that's got a really close gap. But Murchie, let me go into the cockpit for a while. I love the cockpit view. I don't know if everybody hates me jumping to the cockpit all the time, but I just love watching it in the cockpit and watching the people's steering inputs.
Oh, that's fun stuff. It's now Howard making a run on Krister. Krister right now kind of the cork in the bottle for quite a few drivers behind. Big gap opening up between him and 7th place Sylvain. Yeah.
Looks like Moses got something on Derek here. Not much drafting goes on with many of these cars. He looks like he's got a little momentum here, though.
It's worth about 1/10 of a second there down the big straight, Mike.
Oh, and up. Murchie's got the same. He catches up here, but this corner looks like he did a better job this time because he's right behind Chris Bourne. Looks like they're catching up to Steve a little bit now, though.
Well, they certainly haven't lost any time, have they?
No, they held it. Steve had a better couple of laps with cold tires.
Yeah, I think so. Also, Bourne and Panov they were fighting it out a little bit there early on.
And
Allowed Steve a bit of a gap.
Derek's not that far behind these two either.
No.
So he can he'll jump on any mistake by these two while they're battling with each other. You'll notice on the bottom there, next to the driver's name on the right-hand side, there's a the current driver. But I'll be able to compare laps when we get a little bit further down between, and we'll have that right in that little spot. Compare laps between the two drivers, so that's kind of fun. Oh, Murch is taking a move. Makers is making a move again. Looks like Murch has got. We had an incident with Howard.
We had an incident there with Howard. Yeah, going into turn 2.
I'm gonna do a little. See if I can catch this.
Yeah, I just caught the tail end of that, so couldn't see exactly what happened.
We're in replay right now. Oh, just jump back. Okay, well.
Yeah, Steve at the front now, extending that gap a little bit more. This battle for second place, I think, really is allowing him to escape. He might have better pace anyway, but...
Oh, Murch is going to try it again.
Inside line this time.
Oh, he might make it stick. Very close. Oh, he might have lost the nerve, but he went wide. Chris went wide. Now he's got the inside line again. Now they're side by side. Murch just might make it here.
Bird and Moses loving it behind.
Yeah.
Loving
this. He got it. Finally got it. Let's see if Murch pulls away now, because he was pretty hot behind Chris. That was great driving by both of them, really, but Murch just hung in there and got the spot. So let's just see if he pulls away.
Yeah, sometimes that shift of finally getting that position and being out front instead of having the guy to follow, it can be a switch. So we'll see if he does hold on to that pace. It looks like it for now.
I'm on board with Derek. Let's just see if Derek is going to take advantage now or has a bit more pace. What do we got down the line a little bit here to see if there's Patrick Larson is close to Andy Driscoll. That's a nice little grouping here too, with Driscoll, Rainier, and Krister up ahead there. I wonder if I have a setting issue here with the fact that you guys can't see who I've got in the camera, except you can see the name, I guess. And also there's our pit stops indications. Okay, I'm going to try something here. Let me go to Helican. And I'm going to try a comparison between Steve and Murch.
And it's Chris Bourne now trying to make a move on the outside. Couldn't make it stick that time. And it does look like that Merce pace is pretty legit. So
well, there's a comparison there. I can hardly read it, but looks like Merce has a better second sector on even Steve Young. So that's the new feature there.
Yeah, as mentioned, his pace does look pretty good, and who knows? Maybe he can even pull up on this Steve Young guy.
Who is this guy? Okay, where are we at? Is Murch that far behind? Let's take a peek at his view from a cockpit.
Boy, it's Wood that has now pulled up on Chris Moses there, and that four-way fight for seconds, now a four-way fight for third, with Merce gaining that ground on those guys.
So Jonathan's still in sixth place, though. These new guys are giving him a run for their money. This may not it may not be his favorite track either, right?
Well, I don't know the guy, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, that's for sure.
Oh, Jonathan. We're on board with Jonathan. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yeah, Jonathan, who you just saw lost a little bit of time. So tires warmed up and should be good to go. Now these guys just need to drive the car, and we'll just see how much the tires do give up toward the first pit stops coming up. Could change things.
Merche can see Steve, but he's Steve is keeping that 2+ second.
Lauren super wide here.
Everybody had to adjust there. It's so easy to follow a guy and just follow his line, right? And you go off at the same time. Yeah, that's what they always say. It's hard to do, but race the track, not the bumper. But the gaps are opening up a little bit there.
Yeah, pretty impressed there with Krister holding on to that 8th position. The gap has opened up, like you say, but doing a great job there in 8th. Fending off actually several challenges now. Has a nice lead over Rainier.
Here's another little grouping that's not so bad here. Larson, Driscoll, and Thomas Rainier back in 11th, 9th, 10th, and 11th place. Just watch this for a bit.
Yeah, and as you watch that, Mike, you know, we're nearly halfway through the race already. So guys just planning on making it halfway and making that stop. That should be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, 37 minutes to go. I keep forgetting which. Whoa, he's going to make a move. Whoa, Helican. Let's watch that. Let's watch that pass again. Just late break. Maybe a little too late. Wow, it looked really good, didn't it? Wow. It looked like he was a very late break and almost a dive, but it was smooth as silk. He didn't. That was.
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah, on Andy. Andy might have had a very different breaking point than him.
Well, you know, especially in the Porsche Cup cars, they have so little front grip that I'm really surprised to see how well he's able to hold that down to the apex. So well done.
Yeah, it worked great. Who else have we got? Shannon on Jeremy here.
Let's see, Mr. Gray on YouTube suggests it's weird listening with no game sounds.
Oh, shoot.
Is that everyone's experience on YouTube?
That's my fault. Sorry, guys. I had that off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. There's so many things to remember here. The game sound should be on there now. It is weird listening without a game sound.
And a bit my fault, maybe, for not checking YouTube a little earlier. Sorry about that, chat.
We're on with Shannon here, trying to overtake Grand Poobah of eSeniors. Those of you who don't know, Jeremy is the. Whoa, Shannon just about lost it there. Jeremy is the founder of the group, and we thank him for that. A lot of people have been through this group. Oh, Larson is going to hold on. He just held on to it there. Nicely done. Or Shannon, I keep saying Larson. He is all over the place. There's a track cut for sure.
Yeah, speaking of the admins, it's so difficult to herd all his cats week in and week out. So well done to them. And just a quick note, Mercedes is now gaining some time on Steve Young, Mike. So picked up about half a second here over the course of the last 4 or 5 laps.
Well, he now has the best. He has the best lap, 157.1. So he is definitely picking things up here. Who is that ahead of somebody in between Merche and Steve, a red car? Let's see if I can figure that out. Number 69. Oh, sorry, I'm on board with Chris Bourne. This is Merche here. So Merche he made up a second there on Steve. Steve must have had a little bit of an issue indoor. Maybe
the gap had come down a little steadily. Then all of a sudden, you're right, he did whack off about a second or so. Meanwhile, speaking of gaps, Chris Moses actually has dropped back a little bit from Derek Bird. So maybe his tire's given up a little bit. That's going to happen on the Porsche Cups.
He is definitely catching up to Steve. You can just see it on the screen there, but you see on the screen also the comparison of sector time. So Merche's got almost the best sectors of all 3. Steve Young's got the best first sector by just a hundredth of a second. So that gap is closing.
Yeah, it sure is. And while you watch that gap, I can tell you the battle over ninth's really heating up. You still have that Larson-Driscoll battle, and they're closing up here on Rainier. So these guys are looking to dice it up before their pit stops.
And here is Chris. Chris is within striking distance of Derek. We're going to have to hear on the stream tomorrow what was Jonathan's issue. He's usually up there quite a bit. But this season's a whole different story. There's
Well,
Derek.
I mean, the times were good by all the cars in front of them. I mean, if you got the competition, you got the fast drivers all up there, well, shoot, you're going to have to battle for it.
Nobody's making many mistakes either.
Yeah, very few. Just the regular Porsche Cup mistakes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Here's-
Yeah, but you're right. Nothing major, particularly early on when those tires are in bad shape. So I was really happy to see that.
Oh, this is a nice little grouping here too.
Yeah, it is, and that Mercedes gap continues to come down to first place Steve Young now within 1.5 seconds, Mike.
Nice. And Bird is making inroads on Bourne.
Oh, he's right there.
So let's just see what Merch is looking at. Oh, Merch can taste it now. He sees he's made up a ton of time. Hopefully he'll be able to get some of these guys into the stream afterwards and see what they think of the track or the race. Here is Chris Bourne's view. So this podium is very close, very close. A lot's going to happen. And Derek's not
Yes.
far behind. So look at this. And Chris is in striking this. So top 5 guys have all still got a great chance.
Yeah, Moses losing a little bit of ground there to Derek over the last 5 or 6 laps, but hanging in close enough. Some good pit stop work can help his cause a whole bunch.
But Derek's definitely within striking distance of Chris here. Any little mistake. But Merche, he can taste it. He is now within a second of Steve Young.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how young is, but this is going to be tough on him. These Porsche Cups are you really got to concentrate so much. So a 50-minute race is a long time, especially with this kind of pressure for everybody, really.
Steve's tires just have to be going off.
You think
They
so?
have to be. Yeah, but Panov certainly has kept his tires in better shape. There's just no doubt about it.
Because we really haven't seen Steve make any mistakes.
No, nothing. And on top of that, he's not a guy generally prone to making mistakes either. So this has got to be a tire issue.
We're on board here with Stephen Buckley, who is chasing Jeremy down. He got really close a second ago. Just see how he does in the big, long, sweeping corner. Like Minstrel Straight. I'm not sure what this next corner is called. I just love this corner. He's gaining on him. Trying to set him up. Oh, they keep Quip Des Sing, and that means Swan Corner is what it's called in English, a translation. Now Merche is even closer.
Yeah, I've just been keeping my eye on that battle.
Oh, Larson and Rainier, there's been an issue. Oh, somebody just went off, maybe showed some yellow flags there. Maybe they just went a little wide. But yeah, Merch is right up on Steve's tail. Now this is going to be interesting in terms of the pit stops. What kind of strategy are these two guys going to use? Because if you got to think, if Steve thinks his tires are going, he may just advance his pit stop a little bit.
Yeah, and that is a good strategy equation, right? If you know that you're going to have pace on a guy toward the end of a stint anyway, then it opens up the strategy options a little bit. You know you're going to have some pace in hand there at some point. But it's really thoughts that are going through all the drivers, Mike.
Yep,
about
these
sure. about the pit stop equations. Yeah. Hard to do sometimes when you're in the thick of action. Also.
I'm just looking at the gaps here for all these guys. all striking distance gaps, really. Well, Chris is 3 seconds behind Bird, so it's really right now top 4 guys. You can see them all in the view there now. Oh, Murchie just passed him. Well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back 30 seconds. This must have happened right here. Here we are. We're in a replay mode right now. I don't have my usual replay graphic, but this is a replay of the pass. He finally got through on the Swan corner. Here it comes. Oh yeah, he had lots of pace on him there. Took the inside, side by side, just going in. And Murchie just held that corner nicely on the inside, didn't he?
Yeah, very tight. Of course, very good driving on both accounts.
Now look at that. Chris did not go in for the pit stop, so maybe 28 minutes left, so we're past the halftime. But Murchie just kept getting better and better. I mean, he had the fastest time. And I know what this color means now. That is the colors on the timing tower, or when somebody passes somebody. That's what it is. The green guy just passed. He Jonathan just went in the pits, so Krister passed him. So that's what it's all about. So that's good to know. You can be able to jump on to see a pass there. We're all learning together, folks. This software we're using is called ACC TV, and it's been around for quite a while. But there was a significant improvement in the last little while, and that's why Krister and I have both jumped into it. So yeah,
nice to have it.
Yeah, people are starting to pit. That's why you're seeing those red and green colors.
You know, another reason that Panov could have caught toward the end here, Steve Young. Steve Young may be running quite a bit less downforce. In fact, he is pulling up on the straight I see right now on Panov. So this lack of downforce in combination with some worn tires, right, could be making that Porsche Cup car really difficult to handle. But he's making it. Ooh, holy cow! He came close. They came close to making contact there through turn 8?
Yeah, I was 8. Yeah. Okay, they're back. I was just grabbing a battle a little bit further behind.
Sure. Yeah, Steve had to take some real quick defensive action.
Evasive action, yeah.
Yeah, to keep from plowing into him. Yeah, these guys are thinking. They're thinking about their stops. It's still anybody's game here, Mike.
Yeah, we got quite a few guys on the stream here. Mikos, fellow named Willie Pie, Mr. Jay Gray. Yeah, he's talking about undercuts. Thanks for being on the stream, guys. We'll take a peek every once in a while there if you ask a question or want something different on the timing tower. The timing tower I've set for nationalities, obviously, but tomorrow I'm sure Krista will be flipping between manufacturers and nationalities there. So yeah, big change at the top. That's great to see a pass between 1 and 2. Yeah, so number of people are in the pits. They're starting to do this kind of their strategies there.
Yeah, and speaking of those pit strategies, this does put Steve kind of in a tough spot. If he knows that he's losing that ground toward the end of stints, you know, do you hang out a little longer and give up that track time before you stop? Try to keep those tires better toward the end of the race? Or do you come in to try to gain the time back that you've already lost on Panov?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Steve and Murchie's last laps there. They were Murchie was 0.2 of a second faster than Steve, and he's opened up a gap of 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, Steve did put in a pretty good lap. Panov, a bit of a mistake there, so I think Steve's going to pick up even a little bit more.
Going to be interesting to see what these two guys do in terms of pit stops.
Yeah, for sure, Derek.
So go ahead.
Yeah, and Derek Bird and Chris Moses now, they're a bit off the pace. So I don't know what the heck they're going to try to do to try to get back in contention for the win here, but they're going to have to come up with something.
So coming up to, oh, there he goes. Steve Young's in. Gone in the pits first. So we'll have to see how what Murchie does. and whether or not they come out in the same order.
Yeah, so Chris Bourne among the early stoppers, Jonathan among the early stoppers. Of the guys who are kind of up there, we'll see how that pays off for them as the pit stop cycle through. Boy, that battle there for 8th. Battle there for 8th, still extremely tight. Oh, except it just got broken up because one of them came into the pits.
Yeah. Krister went in the pits. Just watch Merchant on his. What's up?
Derek Bird now 3.3 seconds off of first place Panov.
And Jonathan went into pits a little early. So I wonder if he has an issue with setup.
It could be, or that undercut situation.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything's strung out with the guys that are on the pit, still on the same pit strategy. So we'll just follow along with Panov, see how he does. His current lap time doesn't give a prediction. His last lap was 157.5, which is great because just looking here. Oh, here's Steve Young has come out. So what's going to be more interesting to see when... Oh! Merche has pitted. Merche is pitting. So we'll just be very careful to see how long where he comes out with respect to Steve.
Yeah, Moses behind as well, and I was kind of curious when Panov might be considering coming in, considering he was holding such good pace, you know.
Yeah, past halfway though, so it depends how much fuel he had on. He might not have had a choice. He might have run down to the last few liters.
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll follow along with Steve here to see when Merche comes out.
Boy, the warm tire is such a big advantage here in the Porsche Cup. So Mercedes going to have so much trouble here in the early laps. So, yeah, Steve could gain a considerable amount of time here over the next couple laps.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Where is Steve? This is Steve here coming up the straight. So is Merche ahead of him? Yes, Merche just barely.
No, it's not.
Early. There he goes. I love it. I love
it.
I love a good strategy. That was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that gap was, decent coming into the pits.
Yeah,
so I have to wonder if Merce didn't mess up the pit stop a little bit.
It's so easy, so easy to lose a half a second,
I figured that gap was going to be a little bit bigger with Steve still in second, but no, he got the job done. Very cool.
Yeah, very nice. I'm glad I caught that.
Wow, Bourne right there too now. So it's tightened up between those guys. Moses losing even more ground. So the top three right now battling for the win.
Yeah, Bourne's right up there. So did he go in early?
Who's that?
Did Bourne go in early?
I did not catch it. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, that's okay. It's hard to keep track. But yeah, look at that. He's right up there.
So Derek Bird, one of the front runners, now just exiting pit lane. Sylvain as well.
So everything will be back to normal soon. Excuse me.
Yeah, stops are going to have completely cycled through here on this lap. So that'll be it. It'll be down to getting the job done on track.
Paul in the stream's asking whether see if Merche is going to have a triple this week. Win all three races. I didn't notice. Did he win the Ferrari race yesterday?
Oh, so some lap traffic now
Yep.
for Steve Young.
Somebody is ahead of him, number 404.
Yeah, there were some
That's
blue
Bob
flag
Laycock,
discussions. Yeah, not only in the week of practice here, but in the drivers' meeting. And right now, Laycock is, well, he's holding them up a little bit.
There he goes now. He goes wide there.
Whoa!
A little too wide. That wasn't the place to do it. And that's Moses coming up, or Bourne coming up behind him there now. Okay, so the three guys are past him.
Yeah, both through clean, so that's good to see.
So Murchie's got one lap in his tires. Let's see if he maintains his pace. I'll put up a comparison here for these two guys. I think if I leave it there, it'll stay for a lap or two. But oh, Murchie's right on his tail.
Yeah, has obvious pace here.
Yeah,
early.
I think Murchie's got the pace
them.
today. Yeah, he's got the pace today.
Just trying to drag that front end. That's a tough turn 9. Ugh.
So I think what you're seeing on the screen there is their last laps. Yeah, lap 15. Yeah, exactly. So what you see in terms of comparisons is their last laps, which is not a fair comparison because I think Murchie was still warming up his tires. So take that down.
Well, I can tell you this, having battled Steve Young multiple times, particularly in that last race, championship-winning race he had at Laguna Seca, he's one tough guy to get past, Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Really tough.
Murchie, late break there. Very late break. Now I don't know how you find, on that entry on that corner, if you late break, you sometimes lose it coming out of that chicane.
It's all about setup through the first corner.
Exactly.
You have to take it slow enough to be able to get to turn 2 and carry a lot of momentum off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big corner in terms of time in the first sector.
Yeah. So if you late break, you don't often gain anything, and you may lose.
Yeah, it's the type of corner where you, if you give up a little bit going in, it's way better than giving it up coming off.
Okay, now let's watch the gaps here on the straightaway, because that'll tell us whether somebody's running less or more wing than the other guy. So he's
it's
behind.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
See, Murchie is catching him. Murchie's catching him on the straight.
Yeah, I speculated Steve might be running less downforce, given how hard his tires dropped off. But I think they're about even.
Well, he gained 0.3 of a second there. It wasn't on the exit of the corner, I don't think.
Yeah, 0.3 is a lot.
That's a
lot. Like I say, it gives you about a tenth.
Wings?
0.1 of a tenth there in the draft coming down the big straight. So
let's go to cockpit cam here for a while because it's going to get exciting. So podium-wise, though, it's definitely anybody's race yet.
Yeah, I'm looking a little bit further back. It looks like actually Moses has picked up a little bit of time there on Derek Bird for the moment. So the battle for fourth still very much alive.
There it is there. This is our battle for fourth. You know, they can see the podium, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's always a good motivator.
Yeah. Well, no incidents yet with the top guys, so there's also the last few laps everybody gets a little antsy to make a big move, so an incident late could change the podium big time.
Yeah, that's right. Laps running out. That always motivates a guy. Or girl.
But definitely here Chris Bourne is in the running, but Merchant is all over Steve now.
Boy, been a battle throughout the whole race and still running very close together.
Yeah.
But these guys running super consistent laps.
We haven't shown much of the back half, but I'll, if I have some time, I'll do one of my midfield madness. Oh, it looks like, see, Merchant has got it on the straight. That's where he gains all the time. Look at that. He's going to make it move. He's going to make the same move he did to pass him last time.
Yeah,
it's got to be
had
wings,
to back off.
It's got to be set up.
Yeah, you could very well be right. Yeah, Steve had to back off there.
Oh no, he's like make it on the inside. Merchant went a little bit hot into that corner, which is another corner that you can overcook it a little bit. And Steve took advantage of it right away.
Yeah, 14 minutes to go. Merce knows that he has the pace, so he just has to, all about exercising some patience. Yeah.
Yeah, if he's got him on the straight, so he just has to sit where he is right now. He'll get him next time. So hang on there.
Oh, yeah, careful on the curbs.
Yep.
These cars hate the curbs.
Do they? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Has it improved
yeah, you
at
can
all?
take a. Well,
is it improved
these
in the last
curves,
release?
I'm not sure about other tracks, and I'm not sure about the last release. I can't speak to that.
The last release has improved the curb physics quite a bit on many of the cars, and I think I read somewhere that it's improved them quite a bit on the Cup car.
They
had basically a fault. When I'm watching Aris drives there, he basically admitted that they had a fault in the software. That if you loaded up the suspension, sometimes it would just pop and release all the energy at once. And so when they fixed that, it improved everybody's curbs. Here we go again. Mertza, you don't need to do it here. You're going to be able to do it on the straight. Hang in there. Watch.
Yeah, and well, you watch that battle. It's actually really tightened up between fourth here. Derek Bird and Chris Moses going at it just behind. So
it looks like Thomas Rainier lost a couple of spots. I'd go back and do a review on that, but looks like we're going to have a change of positioning. And see how much he catches up every time. Oh, he's gone on the outside this time.
Yeah, he has. Tougher place to get the move done, but he may clear Steve here even before they get to the corner, Mike.
Yeah. Looks like it.
Now just hold it tight. That understeer's killing him.
Yeah. Looks like now Steve's got the inside track, and he's going to make the same move as last time.
Oh, I thought Steve went in there too fast.
Nope. That last lap was exactly the same two moves. They may have different strategies on that corner because you can go wide and hold some speed, but if you just if you hold off on the entry speed, you can take it sharper and you get a better exit, I think, on that one. So here this is the same story here, right?
Yeah, it's all about that deceleration momentum, allowing you to take those different lines through the corner. So just a question of really what you get comfortable with when you in practice, right?
Let's see if he catches up on this mini straight here. Not really.
Boy, really allowing third place Chris Bourne to stay in contact with those guys as well.
That's what I'm saying. If there's a slight tap anywhere, looks like Shannon just lost the position to Buckley a little bit further back. He jumped to that.
And look, if you're Chris Bourne, you never want to, take a win when guys make mistakes, but you really do want to take a win when guys make mistakes in front of you.
That's what. Excuse me. That's why he wants to stay in. He wants to stay in contact with these two.
Yeah, that's right.
Chris Moses is catching up to Derek here.
Yeah, he's really made some progress the last few laps.
I'm gonna take a quick look at see their comparative times here. Yeah, look at that. Chris is definitely last lap. He gained quite a bit of time.
Boy, I wish I could see that on my monitor. And by the way, why is my second monitor displaying such a low
resolution,
Mike? Why is that?
I can't tell you, buddy.
Well, I was hoping that you would have some answers.
I got lots of answers, probably none of them the right one.
It says 1080p, but...
Oh, yeah. So Steve Young held that lead for that first of that whole lap 20, I think it is. He was a little skidding there, so when you get in the cockpit and watch the guy ahead, you can see a little bit more of, whoa. Merche came close there. For some reason, he can't catch up on this mini straight, so that's kind of interesting that he catches up on the long straight.
I really do think, Mike, that actually Steve is having a bit of a tough time coming onto that straight off that corner. I think that is hurting him a little bit.
Well, let's watch. We'll stay in Merche's cockpit this time and just look for the exit on that corner.
Yeah, good call. And while you watch that battle, I can just give you a quick update there for 10th. Buckley, Shannon, and Renier still battling it out for that top 10. So that's a good fight. I've been watching also.
3 Canadians all together there. The three of 4 Canadians. Okay, so here we come. Let's just see what happens with Steve. They both take exactly the same line. And see, at this point, they're close to exactly this. Now let's see if Merche catches up. Not very much. Oh yeah, now he's catching up. That is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, see, it doesn't take much. The throttle is, watch this real fast, is it's so critical to hit the throttle right on these Porsche Cups, and that acceleration zone coming in to the corner before the straight is really critical. So just tiny bit of a slide there on throttle makes a big difference on the straight.
So you can keep the microphone there. I'm going to make a little change to something.
Yeah, roger that. So 8 minutes to go. Top 2 right there. Chris Borden in 3rd, not very far behind. Top 5 really all pretty relatively close, but Derek Bird and Chris Moses now going to have a tough time, I think, making contact back up toward those guys if they want an expectation of the win. Got a good battle going back there for 10th still. Buckley, Shannon, and Renier still going at it pretty hard. Other gaps opened up a bit here across the field, but they're all still having a lot of fun, no doubt. And should be mentioned real quick, just one retirement, I think. So started with 20, now down to 19.
Yeah, that's great.
But 19 of the finest. 7 minutes. Okay. So Panov at some point has got to be thinking, well, okay, where do I make my dive bomb if I have to, right?
Just actually setting up prediction for the podium there in terms of some text. So we'll see if a prediction holds. This is where it stands right now. Young, Panov, and Bourne. Bourne's lost a little bit there. Back in 2.5 seconds, and Merche is trying hard again. Looks like he's going to take the outside line this time, which hasn't worked for him. Works for the first corner.
He may try to take the line away this time.
Oh, look at that. Looked like
he did give him room. He gave Steve room there.
Steve looked like he slid a little bit. See, Steve catches up right here. Oh, they're battling now. They know it's only 6 minutes left.
Boy, what we can see on the external view is that Merce does have just an inch or two where he could slide in front and take that line away into the fast corner there, but just not quite far enough ahead where I think he's confident that he could take that line away, right?
But look at this. Chris Moses has the fastest lap of the race.
Yes.
That's a point, by the way.
Oh, okay. So
you get a point for that.
Early extra point for Moses, perhaps. But he has slipped a little bit off the bumper from Derek Bird there in recent laps.
Well, what that does, though, tell us is that Chris is figuring out the car. That's not good for the rest of the field.
You're right about that.
The rest of the field. I know him talking on the chat this week. He goes, there's nothing to it. You start with aggressive setup and make a few changes. I wonder what he's going to say after this.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the sun was in his eyes. Track didn't rubber in like he thought.
Here's our podium on the screen, very close. And you know what? Derek Bird's not that far behind either. He could take advantage of something happening.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll just be there in a flash.
5 minutes left. Just watch the TV cam for a change.
Yeah, and it should be mentioned quickly there on YouTube chat and all the viewers coming in. Thanks for hanging around, and look forward to the next 7 rounds as Panov goes for another outside look.
He should try the inside. He had such success with it. Let's see now. See, it seems like Steve has it better on this corner. Oh, but Panov is trying hard. They see he slid a little there, though. Very close, though. Very close. This is great racing. What a great race between these two guys.
It really is. I think Panov would like to take a wider line through there, but of course he's trying to make the pass, right? To hold it there toward the inside, and there's just no grip there for him.
He is right on his tail right here, though. He's going to make a move here. He's made that move before.
Careful on those curbs.
Yeah.
The over/under here.
Oh, there we go. Side by side. It's a drag race to the first corner. Looks like Merche's going to get it. Merche has a totally different line into this corner, or a different approach. He usually goes in faster. Let's see if...
Oh, protecting the inside. I don't know if that was a good move.
Whoa, that was close.
Yeah, Steve didn't set up for that as well as I think he could have. I think he should have scrubbed more speed before they entered the corner. He could have come off with more movement. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he had him quite a few times that way. Now let's just see if he can catch up.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we've seen, I think this could be Panov's race if he just holds it together.
Well, he'll probably hold it together, but it seems like the one's got an advantage on one part of the track. Let's just see that last corner here. What the difference was.
Boy, and it has now tightened up again between those top 5 laps. Laps running out very quickly, but now only about 4 or 5 seconds separating the whole top 5. So they have come back together over the course of the race.
Went to Steve's cockpit and watch how hard he's working to catch up here now. Again, apologize, guys, for staying with the top 2 guys, but it's been such a great race. I promise I'll do a midfield madness for the other guys and give you some airtime. I want to encourage people to stay in the Porsche Cup. Stay in there, guys. It looks like it's been a fun race for a lot of you. So, especially that 11th, 12th, and 13th place guys looked like they've been trading positions quite a bit.
Yeah, I sure have. I wasn't able to catch them all, but the battle for 10th still pretty hot there. Buckley and Grenier going at it. This is it. Mercedes pulling away on the last lap.
Is he ever?
Looking in control.
Oh, yeah. Looks like Steve's having a little trouble now. His tires are just squealing.
Yeah.
Wow, does that mean Bird's catching up? Not really.
It does.
Has he?
Oh, he's catching up to Chris.
I don't know if he's going to have enough time, though.
Well, you know, it all comes down to the twisty bits in that last sector, right? So, mistake there, and the guy will be on you in the flash.
Well, Derek Bird, he's in 4th, not very far from Chris.
Yeah,
the last
exactly.
few corners might just do it. You know what? You got to know he's trying. A lot of points between 4th and 5th, that's for sure. And Chris has an extra point for fastest lap. Whoa, Derek went really wide there. Thank God, no drive-throughs or no penalties for track cuts today. That's good.
Yeah, like I was saying, that most of them were kind of the no penalty cuts that I experienced. It seemed pretty loose on the track cuts.
You have to hit those things we just went by, those little signs. If you go by those things, for sure you're going to get a cut.
Yeah.
This looks like it's going to be our podium, folks. Let's just scratch Merche and the TV cam coming around the last corner. And there is our winner, Merche Paunov. 2nd. There's the checkered flag. 2nd, Steve Young. And 3rd, Chris Bourne. There's the flashing Bourne. And it was not too far behind with Derek Bird and Chris Moses.
Yeah, and it's Rainier now, still looking for that 10th place in a 2.2 seconds behind here going after Buckley.
Here we go. Lots of corners left. That's this battle right here. This is where it gets very difficult. Don't hit the throttle too hard in these corners.
Yeah, Rainier not really taking the best line there, so I think when he watches his replay, he might be able to pick up a little Paul Ricard knowledge.
And there they go. The last complex. Let's see if Thomas can catch Mr. Buckley. Whoa, he was... Oh, we're going to have a drag race down the corner. They both slid a little bit. And it's a drag race. And it looks like Thomas has got a little bit. Didn't make it, did he?
Didn't quite make it, but
that was a close finish.
Half
Very
a car.
good. Very good. Well, let's, here we go. Here's our podium. Make sure I get rid of some sound in the background. And let me see if I can pull our guys in from the chat. Who is there? I don't see them. Hopefully they'll join us. Oh, there we go. Hi, Steve. Well, hang on for 1 second.
All right.
We can get a couple of other guys. Come on, Merche. I'll talk to both of you. And I don't see them in the other part. Oh, there's Merche. I'll drag him in right now. Good. And then we'll firstborn. Hopefully he'll jump in also. But we got the two of you. What a race, you guys. Merche.
That was a great race.
Yeah,
Great race.
Steve.
Yeah. Excellent race. Excellent.
Let's talk to you, Steve. You were losing ground on the long straight, it seemed, quite often.
Yeah. I had the wing at max.
That's what we suspected.
So because I was trying to keep the tires under it, and plus trying to be more consistent anyway. At least that was my idea.
Now, Steve, do you have a lot of experience in the Porsche Cup?
No.
Okay, good. Well, it's going to be a good season then.
And so speaking of tires there, Steve, it did look like your pace dropped off there toward the end of the stint. So was that a tire issue, do you think?
I'm not. I think actually I made a mistake on the first stint. The first stint, I started off with my tires I qualified on. And it was already had laps on them, so it just made it worse, later on. But the second stint was, when I changed the tires, it was a lot better. I was running, more like I should have, but because I had new tires in. But still, he's just fast. He just had a little bit more, and that, it doesn't take much.
Now, Merche, did you win the Ferrari race yesterday?
Yes.
Aha! You're gonna go for the first triple crown of the year. You're gonna get tomorrow.
No. We'll see. Tomorrow, BMW.
Excuse me.
A lot faster.
So that was you guys were trading first and second there in the last half of the race, back and forth. It was great to watch. So how was your race, Merche? What did you think?
Great race. I'm happy that we have a beautiful race. And we didn't crash in first turn.
That's exactly true. No, but you know what?
Yes,
there were no incidents today. No incidents that we saw.
No, it was shame at Valencia. We could have a good race there also, but unfortunately we crashed.
Practice race.
Today it was a very good race.
Now, were you running a little less wing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was faster a little on the straight.
It made a big difference on the long straight. We were watching your gaps on the short straight. Didn't hardly make a difference, but you were catching at least 0.2 of a second on there. So that made it exciting for us. That's for sure. So thanks, Steve, for keeping that heavy wing.
No problem.
He couldn't catch me on straight with slipstream.
Yeah. Now you guys are gonna have to watch out though, because Chris Moses, who does not have a lot of experience in the Cup, had the fastest lap of the race today, so he gets a point for that. And I know you guys know, hopefully you know this, there's also going to be a combined scoring this year in terms of, if we want to call it an overall winner. Jeremy doesn't want to call it an overall championship because he considers GT3 the world championship, but we'll have an overall standings too. The people that race all three races get some sort of standing. So Merche, you're gonna have the lead there, I think. Brad, any last words?
For now, yes.
Any last words, Brad?
I think my last words are that it was not only a great race, but I think it's going to be a great season 8. Did want to ask our drivers real fast if they, looking at the season coming up, if they think the tracks suit them, if they think that they're going to be well suited to the car and the track, and what they think their prospects are over the course of the season.
Starting with you, Steve.
I'll just take whatever I can get, to be honest. And so I can, if I'm always trying to shoot for a podium, first, second, or third, and try to be more consistent. I mean, just like I was with the championship last year, I didn't win the race until the end, and that was, with Chris, so with having his internet issues. So I just want to be consistent and hang in there and not make catastrophe type mistakes. And, if it's there to take for a win or something, yeah, I'll do it. But also, I don't want to cross the line and end up, in big problems. So I'm hoping I can improve slowly over the year. That's all I want to do is improve.
How about you, Mircea?
When I saw the calendar for the next season, if I was able to choose, I couldn't choose better tracks.
Yeah.
Really great tracks.
Yeah, good.
It doesn't mean that I'm fast on all of them, but I like all of them. Great choice. Great choice.
I don't know if we've divulged, but we are going to try a few, not rain races, but or let's just call them slightly wet races sometime during the second half of the season. So that might be interesting too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks you two for a great race, and we'll see you all tomorrow in GT3 and next week for another great Cup race.
Thank
you.
also
All
for
right.
streaming.
Thanks a lot, Brad, for coming into the commentary, and we'll see you guys all next week for the Porsche Cup. Bye now.